Good morning, children. I am Sister Phoebe, and our topic for today is God's calling in the Old Testament. God called Israel, Part 1, the Passover. So, before we go on to our story, I will share to you about the children of Israel. Are you ready to listen? The children of Israel are so dear and precious to God that He even promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and even all of their descendants, to be a nation in His promised land. That is Canaan. So He wanted His people to go to that land. But Pharaoh didn't want to let these children of Israel go. So what God did, He sent plagues. The first plague that He sent is the water turned into blood. Then frogs, then many lice, and flies, and then pestilence among the animals, boils, even hail and locusts. But not only this, he even sent darkness in the land. What did Pharaoh do? So Pharaoh still hardened his heart. That is why God sent the 10th plague, that is the killing of all the firstborn. God said to Moses, "One more plague will I bring upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. After that he will let you go from here. When he lets you go, he will surely drive you out from here completely." Jehovah also told Moses that all the people, each man and woman, should ask the Egyptian neighbors for articles of silver and gold. And Jehovah gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Also, Moses was very great in all of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servant and even in the sight of the people. So, what the Egyptian neighbors did was they actually gave what they wanted. One day, Moses told Pharaoh that all that Jehovah had told him to say. In the midnight, Jehovah would go out throughout all the Egypt, and he will kill the firstborn of Pharaoh, the firstborn of the slaves, and even the firstborn of the cattle. There would be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as that have never ever happened again. But this would not happen to the people of Israel when they followed and obeyed God's instruction through Moses. Jehovah also told Moses that Pharaoh would not listen to him in order that his wonders might be multiplied in the land of Egypt. So Jehovah showed Moses and Aaron the way of salvation and escape. God told them to tell all the children of Israel that in the first month of the year and the 10th day of the month, each man should take a lamb according to his father's house. A lamb for a household. If the household was too small for a lamb, he can share it with his neighbors. The lamb should be without blemish and first year male, taken from the sheep or the goats. They should keep it for 4 days to ensure that it is without blemish. And on the 14th day, the whole congregation of the assembly of Israel should kill it at twilight between sunset and darkness in the evening. Then they should take the blood of the lamb and put it on the doorpost and on the lintel of the house, in which they would eat it. God commanded Moses that they should prepare it and eat it in a specific way. And they shall eat it the flesh in at night roasted with fire, and they shall eat it with unleavened bread, with bitter herbs. Do not eat it of it raw or boiled at all the water. but roasted with fire, its head with its legs and with its inward parts, and you shall not let any of it remain until the morning. But any of it that remains until the morning, you shall burn with fire. And this is how you shall eat it, with your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is Jehovah's Passover. God commanded them to eat it quickly, which prepared them for fighting, with their loins girded, with their sandals on their feet, and their staff ready for journey out of Egypt. The children of Israel had a long journey ahead, and their eating of the lamb gave them sustenance for their journey. They were to keep the Passover, or also called the Feast of Unleavened Bread, for 7 days, and to observe it as an ordinance, a law, every year, from generation to generation. Every Passover, no leaven was allowed in their houses. So Moses told the elders of Israel everything Jehovah had commanded him. Each household was to take a lamb according to their families and kill it for the Passover. They were to take a bunch of hyssop and put it in the lintel of their doorpost. No one was to go outside. They were to stay inside their house until morning, for Jehovah would pass through to smite the Egyptians around midnight. So at that night, the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat upon his throne, to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. Pharaoh and all his servants and all the Egyptians rose up in the night, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not someone died. Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron at night and said, "Rise up, go out from the midst of the people. Rise up, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Jehovah. Take both your flocks and your herds, and you have said, Go and bless me also." The Egyptians urged the people to leave Egypt quickly, for they said, "All of us will be dead." The people of Israel left so quickly that they took their dough before it was leavened. And as Moses had said, they also asked for articles of silver and gold, and clothing from the Egyptians. They then traveled from Ramses to Succoth, 600,000 men on foot, not including children. Jehovah gave the people favor before the Egyptians, so they let them have what they asked for, and they plundered the Egyptians. A mixed multitude, including some who were not Israelites, also left together with them, as well as flocks and herds, and a very large number of livestock. They baked the dough with which they brought out of Egypt into unleavened cakes, for it had not been leavened because they were driven out of Egypt and could not be laid. They had not prepared any provision for themselves. After 430 years in Egypt, the people were finally free from slavery. Jehovah brought the children of Israel out of Egypt by their enemies. So that's the end of my story. Thank you for listening.